Hello, Jared here, and I'm back with another video called Comfort Zones. I know this has been covered by some other artists on YouTube, but I thought I would bring my own, flavor to this topic because I have undergone some of my own experiences. And I came to some pretty vivid realizations about this topic. And I would say this video is more for the type of person that maybe does drawing or painting as a hobby, but it's something that you want to excel at. I mean, if you're a professional or a practicing student, you may already know a little bit about this, but I did feel that I should talk about it. So the first thing you may notice in this video is that I have a speed paint of not cartoon cats. What's this? Have I lost my mind? No, I lost my mind when I was drawing cartoon cats. This, these are life studies. This is me grabbing stuff around my apartment and putting it in front of me and then just drawing what I see. I did a whole bunch of them. I have two in this video. I did a key and a glass, and I think the one you're watching now is a key. But yeah, these are the first life studies I've ever done. Shame on me, because I started this out as a hobby, and I guess I could get into a little bit of what's going on and why I'm starting to do this. So the idea of this video started when I submitted one of my recent big pieces for a critique. And I do it on a site where there's a lot of really accomplished artists. And I've undergone many critiques. I know how to take a critique. You know, you leave your ego at the door. Everyone is in the interest of helping you and to get better. And sometimes people lay it on a little thick. Sometimes it hurts a little bit. But I was okay with that. You know, I was ready for the critique. Okay, what's wrong? You know, did I get the lighting wrong? Did I get the shadows wrong? Is the proportions a little weird, or the way that they're standing or sitting or whatever? But the weird thing is that it kind of took a detour, and it became less about what I submitted for a critique and more about what I was doing as an artist. And some people were kind of laying into me a little bit because these were things that apparently had been told to me a few times over the last few months, because I usually submit a critique of something that I've done every couple months. So I don't do it very often, but when I do it, I usually get a whole lot of advice during that time. But what I got was, there were people getting frustrated with me, and they were saying, hey, I told you this months ago. I've told you at least two or three times, and apparently it's obvious that you're starting to stagnate. Congratulations. The sarcasm was starting to lay on pretty thick. And that really got to me. I actually got really irritated by that, because I'm like, hey, I submitted this piece here for a critique, and now you guys are coming after me. Like, what's going on here? And they, I don't really know how to explain it, but they were telling me, like, these are things that you need to do. You will never get past a certain point until you finally just do something else. And it took me a while to realize that, because I got a little combative. I was trying to keep it professional because, there's no reason to start bitching about, just little things like that. But at the same time, like, okay, last year I started this out as just like a big fun project. Like, oh, hey, drawing, it's fun, it's magical. Hey, I'm having fun, I'm drawing characters. And that's all that mattered. It's like, oh, that's cute, that's fun. But as I realized I was drawing many hours a day and just constantly pursuing this, it became less of this honeymoon project of just this like romantic drawing fun. And it started turning into like this, hey, I want to get serious about this. And I started feeling that near the end of last year, moving into the beginning of this year. And once I kind of clicked that transition, I realized I have to start thinking about this completely different. But I was being resistant about it. And I had actually received some of this advice of what I should be doing back in February. And that's why these comments were coming to me in April. And they're like, hey, we told you this months ago, and apparently you haven't done anything to combat it. And I realized, oh, Now, I did actually do some studies back in January, and I was trying to get on that train because I remember making a decision. I want to treat this year more as a student and just less as a hobbyist. But I haven't gone to art school. I don't. I don't have any formal training, so I have to self-start everything that I do in this. My best teachers are the internet and just artist blogs and listening to people that know more. And I said that in previous videos. You kind of have to soak everything up like a sponge. But I was a little bit selective about that on what I would soak up because I only wanted to work on certain things. And I was always thinking, okay, well, I have a goal with these characters, and I feel like if I'm not drawing them and working on them, then I'm wasting time. And if I'm doing something completely different, like these life studies, I'm like, well, these aren't cartoon cats. This isn't character design. Why am I wasting my time with this? And that's what an ignorant person says, because that's me, because I don't I don't have any formal training, and I don't really know the cycles and methods and why I'm supposed to tackle certain things. I kind of compare doing traditional studies like going to the gym. It's a lot easier to go to the gym when you do it with friends, and that's actually what I do. And thank God, I have some friends that love going to the gym, and they're practically like my own personal trainers. So it's pretty convenient. But I always imagine how hard would that be if you had to self-start and get yourself to the gym and just work out for an hour alone. I mean, that's tough. That really is tough. And that's what it feels like with traditional studies. I'm not in a school, I'm not in a classroom with peers and everyone working together, working towards a goal. I'm some guy that comes home after work and then I have to sit down and do the stuff myself, and no one's going to tell me to do it or not do it. I just have to do it. And it's really, really hard when you don't have any type of, I don't know, support, moral support. You just got to be hard headed about it. Now, as I sit here and say all this, the best analogy or comparison that I can come up with is when I was in music school. And I actually got my bachelor's in music, and I had to undergo tons of traditional studies. Because think about the person that starts out as a hobbyist. It was the same path when I started music. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, let's go out and get some programs for my computer. Let's get some gear. Let's go to Guitar Center. Let's get a keyboard, get a drum machine. And you just want to make some music. Oh, cool, man. That's so cool. All right. Congratulations. You're making music and you're having fun. But I don't see you composing the next great symphony anytime soon if that's all you're going to do. Now, maybe you don't want to do that, but what if you decided to make the decisions saying, hey, wait, I like doing music and I would like my music to excel and to go to the next level? Well, that's when you have to start studying things like music theory, lots of music theory. And I didn't just study traditional music theory, I had to study jazz theory, which I actually enjoyed a lot more, actually. I like jazz theory a lot more. But tons and tons of traditional studies. I had to take multiple counterpoint classes on counterpoint writing. And I remember taking advanced counterpoint, and I walked in to the classroom and the teacher said, hey, welcome to advanced counterpoint. This is the hardest writing class at this college. And I'm going, oh shit. And I ended up failing the first time. I failed that class after that semester, and I went to take it again. I had a different teacher and I really applied myself, and I ended up getting like a B plus for the semester or something. I can't remember what it was, but studied a lot of Bach, a lot of fugues, fugways, as we called them. But I think about all the traditional studies that I've done, and even though I don't necessarily apply all of it, like if I ever sit down to write music, it's there. It's like these tools, like this tool chest in the back of your head that you can kind of access. And even though I don't study music theory every day, it's still there, even subconsciously. And that does show through just the writing that I do. There's a difference between someone that knows nothing about music theory and someone that does, and you can just kind of see it on this very basic, fundamental level, especially if you have experience in the field. And I kind of feel irritated with myself because I feel like I don't even follow my own advice. You would think, in hindsight, knowing everything that I know in music, that I would think about it that way in art, but I mean, there are very strong parallels, and maybe I'm just refusing to see it, but it's just kind of funny how I forget it sometimes because I remember when I was in that conversation with these artists trying to tell me, what I need to do. And I'm like, well, it's kind of like, I join a rock band. I just want to be a drummer and start playing the double bass and rocking 16th and 32nd notes and just wailing out a sweet metal tune. And you're telling me to go join like a symphony orchestra and then I just have to play bass drum and snare and xylophone and vibes and marimba and trinkets. Like, well, I don't get to rock. I want to rock. I'm not trying to be Michelangelo. You know, I'm not trying to be like the next great high artist. I'm drawing cartoons here. It's like it's practically a taboo field in high art. Cartoons. I mean, it's like walking into a prestige. It's like going into Juilliard and saying, "Yeah, bro, I'm a male drummer. Yeah." I don't think they would take you seriously. And I was arguing that, but that's the thing. Even if you take a metal drummer and you make him study traditional things, there's always something you can pull away from it. You're always going to add to your tool chest, and I failed to see that at the time. And that was just me being naive or just ignorant. And I'm ashamed to say that. Now, even though I was told to do all these traditional studies, I'm certainly going to do that. And I'm just trying to set up a schedule in order to do it while still having fun, because that was something that I combated. I started drawing to have fun. And part of that irritation came in when these people were saying, no, don't do that anymore. Don't do the things that you were having fun doing. Do this, do that. And then that's part of the irritation that I had is, are you guys trying to kill this enjoyment for me? Like, I'm just drawing things that I like to draw. And now you're telling me don't ever do that right now. You need to just completely do things that aren't nearly as fun. But through that, that's still a little naive because someone else told me all the very highly experienced artists that they knew, even if they were animators, even Disney animators, they said that a lot of the artists they know have more fun doing the traditional studies than working on their own content. It's a way to see it, I guess. You don't know if you're going to have fun until you try. And I won't lie. These speed paints in front of you, this glass and key, I did actually have a little bit of fun doing them. I'm not going to lie. I am particularly, I can't even say that word right now. I'm fairly pleased with the way the glass turned out. I've never attempted to paint glass, let alone a life study of painting glass. And could it be better? Of course, anything can be better. And I know that the shadows that it casts on the ground probably need improved, but I was pretty pleased with how it turned out. I'm just kind of getting to the point where what can I grab around the apartment? What would be a new challenge? I mean, I'm looking at something right now. I have a lamp that has a chrome base on it. That would be a little interesting to paint. I don't know, maybe I'll do that one day. Now, as far as everything that I've been saying, I guess that's what I'm trying to describe regarding the title of this video is comfort zones. And basically, I have to go anywhere but Cartoon Cats in order to get better at Cartoon Cats. That's what it's about. And these life studies are just one very small part of the studies that I have to do. I mean, I have to do a lot of gesture drawing. I would love to get my gestures better. I want to get my expressions better. I definitely have to study anatomy better. And that is something that has really come up on me. And it drives me nuts. But anatomy is the giant killer in me right now that I have to conquer. And I think once I do that, everything else that I do will follow suit. Perspective will fall better in line. My gestures will fall better in line. There's just so many things that I have to do. Now, for anyone that is thinking about taking the plunge and doing a lot of things outside their comfort zone, that doesn't mean that you can't do something that you still enjoy. It's like going to the gym if you're training, for bodybuilding or something. You eat really well, you eat your chicken and rice and hit the gym 4 or 5 times a week, but they always have something called cheat days where they can eat anything they want. You know, just eat your ice cream, eat your cookies, eat whatever you want, because that's what keeps you sane. So even if you're going to do something where you're going to start doing traditional studies, that doesn't mean you have to stop doing what you like to do. So you can set yourself an agenda, a schedule, where every day after work I may come home and for 1 to 2 hours I might work on traditional studies. Maybe I'll paint something around the house, or I'll work on gestures or work on anatomy. And then maybe in that last hour, or the last half hour every night, I will draw something that I like to draw. And I'll just keep working on it, like little things. And then maybe once the weekend hits, I spend the weekend working on the things that I like to work on. So maybe all through the week is traditional studies, on the weekends is playtime. And you can treat it any way you want. You can set out your agenda any way you want. But you don't have to quit cold turkey. You don't just have to stop what you like to do, because then that really isn't fun. You have to have a nice balance. In moderation, everything can be fine as long as it's done in moderation. So I should probably wrap up the video. I'm not sure if this was more of a vent video or a helpful kind of instructional advice video. I'm trying to figure that out myself, but I did want to bring that up as a topic because this is something that is realistically hitting me every day and things that I have to struggle and get through. So for anyone out there that has had drawing or painting as a bit of a hobby and you're starting to think that you want to get more serious about it, you better get ready to leave the nest, because you're going to have to in order to learn how to fly. And that's what I've had to learn, and it's not going to come any other way until you try. So thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe below, and I'll see you next time.